nationalatomictestingmuseum.org. That's nationalatomictestingmuseum.org.
It's time for the most interactive radio program in Las Vegas today. It's time for Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro. Brian will talk sports, politics, entertainment, and anything that matters to you. Feel free to call Brian at 702-221-7283.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Now, Pushing the Limits, here's Brian Shapiro.
All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday. It's a little gloomy,
Monday.
little gloomy out there, but we certainly have a lot to go over. A lot happened over the weekend for a lot of different people, including myself. We'll talk a little bit about that. Trump indictment scheduled for tomorrow. Donald Trump is in the air right now. A lot of hot air in the Trump plane, flying from Florida to Manhattan, where I guess he's going to be staying at his own Trump Tower tonight, and then he's scheduled to be making his first court appearance tomorrow. It's going to be a surreal day, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, of course. Mark Levin, who is a complete right-wing buffoon, as I would like to call him, Mr. Constitutionalist himself, had a meltdown on the air yesterday. We're going to play that for you. It's really mesmerizing how all these Republicans out there are so convinced that Donald Trump didn't do anything wrong, even though they have none of the evidence. They don't even know the charges. Yet all these Republicans are all up in arms, and yet these are the same people that talk about Hunter Biden's laptop 24/7. So we'll get to that a little bit later as well, Jamie. And then in hour number 2, Mr. C. Winn himself is going to be joining us in studio. Wow, well, we kind of have a pretty big college basketball game tonight. Yeah, I cannot believe I am saying this. The San Diego State Aztecs are playing for a national championship tonight. I cannot believe now, if you told me this back in the day when Kawhi Leonard was on the team, I would have believed it. I don't believe it. Don't get me wrong. Bradley's a great player, and I got to tell you, they got guys underneath the basket that are scoring and playing at a very high level. I cannot believe they are in the championship game, and all credit to them and Dutch and what that program has done. And I'm very conflicted today because I grew up in Connecticut, and the Yukon Huskies are their foe. So Chris Wynn's going to talk about that. There's also a controversy that is brewed in the women's national championship game. Congratulations to LSU.
LSU.
One of their players, some people are saying, Keith Olbermann called her a blanking idiot. One of the players named Reese, what I would say showed maybe a lack of class towards the end of that game.
You agree?
With some trash talking. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Well, good. Well, that's what I want. So we'll talk about that with Chris to start, because it's kind of it's a little bit of a controversy. I don't think it has anything to do with race. I think it has everything to do with just showing a lack of class, but
also a lack of evidence and facts. We'll get to that.
Oh, we'll get to it. So anyway, a lot to talk about. So, Jamie, I had a very I usually don't talk about my weekends unless it's pretty extraordinary.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. By the way, I'm going for the sunglasses clip-on look today.
I was confused. What are you doing?
I don't know if you like it.
I'm confused.
I haven't had a lot of sleep over the weekend, so I've got some shades under my eyes.
Are those supposed to actually go in your glasses?
Yeah, you buy them at CVS for like $15. They're sunglasses.
Brian, why are they uneven?
I love them. It's a fashion statement for me. By the way, over the weekend I was told that I had great fashion. I'll explain. But anyway, let me start with Friday. I had a chance to catch my boy Wes Scantlin, who I'm friends with, and the band Puddle of Mud. They were in town, hanging out with my friend Mike Hammer, who does a comedian magician, does a show downtown. And we were hanging out with DJ Ashba on the stage. DJ Ashba, formerly of Guns N' Roses, and we were just hanging out, having a good time, watching the show. So I really had a good time. Really had a good time Friday night. So Saturday was next level stuff for me, because my good friend Brian Feldman, who you hear on this station, by the way, he's on the air here on KSHP, and he's in the radio business. Anyway, he went to high school with the drummer from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
So
we were able to get not just backstage passes, but like pretty much all access passes. We got family and friends passes. So keep in mind, this is one of the hottest bands in the world, right? There were like 40,000 people at Allegiant Stadium. It was crazy. So we get these passes, and we get to be escorted backstage before the show, hanging out in Chad Smith's dressing room before the show, just hanging out with them and hanging out with the band a little bit. Having, the food, the drinks. I mean, you want to talk about the VIP package. This was it. It was pretty surreal. And then About 20 minutes before the show starts, we say goodbye to Chad. He's getting ready for the show. And then a couple minutes before the show starts, keep in mind this is at Allegiant Stadium. There's like 40,000 people in there. Mm-hmm. And we were escorted onto the stage to watch the show.
Oh, big man himself. Okay.
I have video of it, too. A few members of friends and family. I'm like 5 feet away from Flea.
What?
It was crazy.
We need to put that on our social media account. Send that to me, man.
I put it on my Facebook, and I didn't get much sleep. But anyway, watch the entire Red Hot Chili Peppers show from the stage at Allegiant Stadium. And
where did they have you at? They had you like kind of
right on the side of the stage. Yeah, it was pretty wild. And I'll be honest, I've never been the biggest Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. I never disliked them. I always would listen to their music and be like, yeah, I can deal with that. It's good. You know, it's not bad. It's good music. They're great. Flea's arguably the best bass player in the world, and Chad Smith, to me, is one of the top 5 drummers in the world. Anthony Kiedis, not the greatest vocalist, but they're a really good band. They have an interesting sound, and I've always liked them, and I really enjoyed myself, and it was a great time. And I got to experience what it's like to be like a close family or friend to a member of the band.
That's nice.
It's pretty cool treatment, man. It was an experience of a lifetime.
That's good. You deserved it.
Yeah. So here comes kind of like the bad news.
Oh, it's bad news?
It's kind of funny news. It's not horrible news, but anyway. So Sunday I had a date yesterday. I had a date last night.
Oh yes,
and,
bring it in.
So I woke up in the morning and I'm looking at my hair or lack thereof. I usually shave my head. And I shave my head usually on a weekly basis. I'm staying in a hotel room over the weekend, and I didn't have the best razor you can find.
Wait.
I had a couple razors, the type of razor that you might use, like, I don't know, to shave your neck and a quick shave, not an appropriate razor to shave your head. So I made the mistake of shaving my head with this razor. Everything seems to be going okay. And then I'm like right here in back, and I have cut my head before, and it's not a big deal. It's a cut here and there, and you know a little bit of blood, no big deal. This is the biggest cut I've ever had on my head. I mean, there was blood, and I knew when I did it that it was going to be bad because it hurt. It hurt like a you know what, and there was blood rushing down my neck, and it was like a murder scene. And I had to hold a towel on it. It felt like for like an hour, right? And then I went and I played golf. And I figured everything was okay. You know, I figured everything was fine.
Right.
And it was. I mean, it hurt a little bit. But I'm wearing a hat, and I got a bandage over it, and everything's cool, right? So I'm having dinner yesterday with my date, my lovely date.
Wait, hold on. Describe your date.
Oh, what do you want me to describe?
I want to describe the woman. You were telling me that you want to know what kind of woman I'm into. Describe the woman.
Why would you assume it's a woman? That's
you told me it was.
That's straight phobia.
You told me it was a woman in person, Brian.
I'm just kidding. But,
get him, fans. Get him.
So we're at the restaurant, and we went to a really nice restaurant, and I was unaware that at this restaurant you can't wear hats. Now, normally I wouldn't care. But in this situation, I had this huge bandage over my head, and I missed a lot of spots shaving because I stopped shaving when all this happened. So I have patches of hair on my head and a big bandage. I look like I'm like a patient at a hospital. You know, I look so we're having dinner, and, my head looks terrible. And all of a sudden, in the middle of dinner, I feel something dripping down my neck.
Ew.
Yeah, and my head is bleeding in the middle of dinner. Now, luckily, the date I'm with, she knows me. This wasn't like a first date. And she was kind of laughing, and she's like, no, it's cool. We'll put, she was really cool about it. But I'm not talking like a little bloody nose, right?
Yeah.
Where you got a little blood. I'm talking about gushing. It was gushing.
Ew,
okay?
Brian.
So my shirt is like,
bloody?
Yeah. There's blood coming down my neck. So they brought the waiter, and this is a nice restaurant, okay? This isn't like a classless restaurant. So
Brian.
where the entrees are like $70 or $80, right?
Stop.
So they brought like a towel. I don't know where they got the towel from. And it's like, sir, do you need a medic? And I'm like, no, I think I'll be okay. It was unbelievably embarrassing, but at the same time funny. I could laugh about it now. So I got some antiseptic spray and I put some stuff on there, and it seems like everything's okay today.
She's not calling you back.
Oh, no, we were texting all night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a pity text.
No. We're going out again next week. She thought it was funny. No, she's a cool chick. She thought it was hilarious, and she didn't mind. She was super cool, and we hung out afterwards and had a good time. But yeah, that was it was a very embarrassing experience I had.
I don't blame you.
So that's kind of how my weekend went. Unbelievable time at the Puddle of Mud show. I was on the stage for 2 shows, so that was kind of cool.
That's lit.
Red Hot Chili Peppers at Allegiant Stadium was certainly a blast, and it was a lot of fun. So anyway, that's kind of the rundown of how my weekend went down. I hung out with McKeskey and some friends. We watched the games on Saturday afternoon and watched the Aztecs in a buzzer beater. It was pretty wild.
I'm so mad they beat FAU. Mad.
Well, FAU should have won the game. We'll talk about that later.
Should have.
FAU should have won that game. They gave that game away, but we'll talk about that with Chris Winn coming up in hour number 2. But obviously the big news everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. Every news station 24/7. It's almost surreal. Is the former president Donald Trump. Right now he's traveling to New York from Florida, expected to make his court appearance in Manhattan tomorrow following last week's historic grand jury indictment. Trump is facing, as you know, more than 30 criminal charges related to business fraud, but we don't know what the exact charges are. We don't know what exactly the evidence is, but, all these Republicans, many of them are making assumptions that he's innocent without even knowing all the facts and all the evidence. I do find it interesting, though, the news coverage. I'm going to talk about that for a minute because, the incredible part of this is, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, every big outlet, Politico, every big outlet, they're reporting live in front of the Trump Tower in Manhattan. They were, following his plane as it took off from Florida and as it lands in New York. It's like they're on an alert of, hey, this is the last crap that Donald Trump is going to take before he's indicted. I mean, it really is kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of very extra.
But I mean, listen, I understand this is a very historic situation. We've never seen this before. So it's going to be an historic day tomorrow, and it's going to be crazy. And listen, I totally understand that, but it's getting a little crazy. Do we really have to video where Trump is exactly, when he's taking off and showing live shots? Every news outlet did this, by the way. Not just CNN, not just Fox News.
It's filler news. They're just trying to keep everything filled, pretty much.
Well, listen, it's a huge story. I'm not trying to discount this. It's a big story.
It is.
But do we need to know exactly where Donald Trump is all day today? It's a little strange.
No.
That's a little odd to me. But, so it's a little interesting to me, the news coverage. I mean, you have all these shows that are going to be doing their show live outside of the Trump Plaza, or what do you call it, the Trump Tower in Manhattan today. And then tomorrow is going to be crazy.
I'm actually not going to lie. The picture of the airplane Trump's in that says Trump, it kills me. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry. I don't want people to know where I'm at all times of the day. This man has a Trump sign on his plane.
What's amazing to me, and we've talked about this before, and we're going to get into this when I can play some audio, but what's interesting to me, Jamie, is that these Republicans do not have any of the evidence. They don't have any of the charges. Yet they're making the gross assumption, because they're biased, that Trump can't be guilty. He must be innocent. He could not have broken the law. And I find that to be extremely puzzling, but not surprising. But when it comes to Hunter Biden's laptop, when it comes to anything related to Joe Biden, any Democrat, or like a Marjorie Taylor Greene who calls all Democrats pedophiles, but yet when it comes to Donald Trump, no, he could not have broken the law. He must be innocent. So I don't know if we have the audio, but I want to play you one cut because Mark Levin is a complete right-wing buffoon. Mark Levin is biased. He's disgusting inside and out. Everything that Mark Levin stands for is what's wrong with this country. He's a biased buffoon.
No standards.
He's a biased buffoon. So he had a meltdown yesterday on Sean Hannity's show. But this is him even earlier, before I get to what he had to say on the Sean Hannity show, which we are going to dissect. But Mark Levin speaks for a lot of Republicans in this country. So here's a cut that I want to play for you, where Mark Levin is saying that the Manhattan DA Bragg should be disbarred. Have a listen to this.
on professional standards to investigate allegations of misconduct and, quote, censure, suspend from practice, or remove from office any attorney guilty of professional misconduct, malpractice, fraud, deceit, crime or misdemeanor, or any conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice, Judiciary Law, Section 90, subsection 2. These two fools should be disbarred, and they should be wearing orange jumpsuits, and they should see the inside of a cell, because they are part of an insurrection, a Democrat Party insurrection that uses criminal law, abuses it to go after the Republican leading nominee for President of the United States on behalf of their party.
What?
Make it make sense. Please make it make sense.
Mark Levin says that Bragg should be in an orange jumpsuit. Under what grounds?
None.
What evidence does Mark Levin have that Bragg has broken the law? Now, obviously, he has none. And again, this is the weekly show that Mark Levin appeared on with Sean Hannity. So do we have the audio ready? Okay, so here's Mark Levin after saying that he believed that the grand jury are a bunch of Democrats, which is an idiotic thing to say. Have a listen. We'll continue.
Grand juries with Democrat judges, with Democrat juries. This is a battle where the Democrat Party has now dragged the country into tyranny. That is what they've done. They want to change the election rules so they can't lose. The borders are wide open. They
Sorry,
don't
stop
enforce
it.
the law. They want
the borders are wide open. No, Mark, the borders are not wide open. Now, you might not like the fact that, yes, there are a lot of people that are undocumented that are in this country right now, but that is a lie. The borders are not wide open. That's another right-wing talking point. Go ahead.
Rules so they can't lose. The borders are wide open.
No,
they
they're not.
don't enforce the law. They want to
Yes,
pack
they
the
do.
Supreme Court. They want to pack the Senate. They've gone after Trump on the emoluments clause. They've gone after him on everything they possibly can. Now they want to decide who the Republican nominee for president will be. The Democrat Party is the party of profit. It's the party of Stalin.
All right, stop it there.
doesn't-
This is what this a-hole says, and that's who Mark Levin is. He's a right-wing biased buffoon clown. He's now comparing the Democratic Party to dictators, evil, murderous dictators. If you're a Democrat, you must be a dictator. I mean, this is a guy with a platform on the Sean Hannity show that is calling all Democrats dictators, kind of like he is calling, or I should say Marjorie Taylor Greene calls all Democrats pedophiles. All right, go ahead, continue.
Believe that babies that are born should be protected after they're born, that it's a choice. This is a party that is out of control. Their DAs are out of control. Alvin Bragg should be disbarred rather than wringing our hands. Let's
Why?
take some action.
Why?
The DA,
Stop
you
it
know,
for a second. Why should Bragg be disbarred? What evidence do you have that would lead you to believe that Bragg should be disbarred, other than the fact that he's holding the former president accountable without knowing any of the evidence or the charges? What evidence do you have that Bragg should be disbarred, other than the fact that we have somebody that wants to hold Donald Trump accountable for possible crimes that have been committed? What evidence do you have? Go ahead.
Atlanta, she should be disbarred. The guy that's running the investigation in Washington, D.C., his family is loaded with Obama Democrats. Jack the Ripper Smith, his ass to be dragged in front of a committee of Congress, whether he likes it or not. And he should be subpoenaed too. It's time for the Republican Party to understand that this is a war on the party. It is a war on conservatism and MAGA.
Stop it for a second. It's a war on the party, and it's a war on conservatism. So what would you call the attacks on the Biden administration, Hunter Biden's laptop, which they've talked about for 5 years, and I haven't seen a shred of evidence that Joe Biden broke any laws? What would you call that? Is that a war on Democrats? What would you call that? So if you decide to hold the former president of the United States accountable for, I would imagine, crimes that the DA in Manhattan believes he committed, somehow that leads to the Democratic Party are like Stalin. They're all pedophiles. It makes absolutely no sense. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take your phone calls on this, and we'll continue with the Mark Levin meltdown on the Sean Hannity show. Dissect it a little bit further. Most of these Republicans out there defending Donald Trump, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether he committed a crime or not. Doesn't matter. And I'll tell you something. In Georgia, when they indict him on the inappropriate conversations he had with the Georgia Secretary of State, they'll say that's a witch hunt also. When it comes to possible incitement, when it comes to January 6th, they'll say that that's an attack on conservatives as well. Now, where does it end, folks? Really? The classified documents at Mar-a-Lago? Oh, no, that's just an attack on Republicans. We'll take a break. We'll take your phone calls on the other side. Your thoughts on this, 702-221-7283. Again, that number to call, 702-221-7283. Take a break. Be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
place that reminds you of Brooklyn, that true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super hero, that is, because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Look, it's impossible for the average person to find a great attorney out there. There's so much misinformation. Now, let me introduce you to former Chief Deputy District Attorney Thomas Moskal. He was Las Vegas's top DUI prosecutor for years. He prosecuted the most high-profile DUI cases in Clark County. No one knows more about DUI law in Nevada. Just Google it. If you get charged with DUI, whether it's a misdemeanor or even more importantly, a felony, you need Thomas Moskal representing you. His relationships with the prosecutors and judges and his knowledge of DUI law to work for you. So give him a call now or text him at 702-848-5555. It's your life and liberty that's at stake. Don't wait. Call now. That number again, 702-848-5555.
When you bring your vehicle to Star Auto Care for maintenance, you'll have a team of professionals at your service. Every one of our technicians has been factory trained and master status certified to ensure that you receive the highest quality and most effective service. Star Auto Care is located at 3540 East Tropicana Avenue, just east of Pecos. Star Auto Care is confident in their prices and will match any mechanic located within 20 miles. Bring your vehicle in today and let Star Auto Care give you the peace of mind you deserve when you service your car. Visit them online at starautocare.us.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment and work injuries, you name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Whether you're a corporate executive, on a family vacation, or just passing through, St. George Inn & Suites will meet your specific needs. It's conveniently located near restaurants, shopping, and movie theaters. St. George Inn & Suites offers a variety of room types, 2 fabulous pools and jacuzzis, a fitness center, a free full hot buffet breakfast, and laundry facilities. To make your booking, call 435-673-6661 or book online at stgeorgeinnhotel.com. You need to stop in Southern Utah? Make that stop at St. George Inn & Suites.
STN Sports is the only sports betting app you need this season. STN Sports has it all. In-play betting, mobile parlay cards, the Play Plus card to fund and withdraw from anywhere in Nevada, and the latest lines on every game. STN Sports even lets you earn rewards on every bet. Safe and easy betting from your phone or tablet. Go to stationcasinosports.com or sign up at any Station Casino, Fiesta Wildfire, or the El Cortez. Details at the sportsbooks.
The Farmer's Burger from Farmer Boys. Beef, bacon, cheese, hand-smashed avocado, and fresh veggies. Best burger champ. That's how we drop the mic. Farmer Boys. Farm food ain't fast food. Farmer Boys' new always crispy fries stay crispier and tastier all the way home. If they make it home. Sharing is caring. Farmer Boys. Farm food ain't fast food.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing,
car accident treatment and work injuries, you name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Oh, you thought radio was dead, huh? I got you, fam. You're now listening to Pushing the Limits with your favorite host, Brian Shapiro and Jamie D. We talk sports, politics, current events, entertainment, and more. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at PTL Radio Show. As well, feel free to call in at 702-221-7283. All right, now, let's get into the show.
All right, welcome back. We're talking about the Trump indictment, which is supposed to be happening tomorrow. I would assume it's going to happen tomorrow. Trump just landed in New York, and he's going to be headed to the Trump Tower, where it's a media frenzy. I mean, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, every national major outlet is in front of the Trump Tower right now.
They are not
covering
playing
every move of Donald Trump before he is indicted tomorrow. And listen, it's a historic day. I get that. But the thing that I find interesting, and I was talking about it with that fool, Mark Levin, who is just a complete idiot. He likes to call everybody else idiots when he's the true fool. He doesn't know, and this is not just Mark Levin. It's the right-wing echo chamber of radio, TV, where they want to make assumptions that Donald Trump must be innocent and he couldn't have committed any crimes without having any of the evidence, without having any of the charges put forth in front of them. It's mesmerizing to me.
Yeah, they're just turning a blind eye, and it makes no sense. I don't understand how you live in reality and they feel like Trump has done nothing and can't be charged for anything. It makes no sense.
Well, yeah, I mean that's again, and if it was a Democrat, you want to talk about a double standard, it'd be the complete opposite.
In on him.
It'd be the complete opposite. And here's the way the rule of law works. And Mark Levin calls himself a constitutionalist. I'm the great one. I'm a constitutionalist. Donald Trump will have his day in court. His attorneys will be able to defend him and fight the charges. That's the way this country works. Nobody should be above the law. We're taking your phone calls at 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, that number to call, 702-221-7283. Tomorrow is going to be a historic day. It's going to be a very busy news day. It's a busy news day today as well. Let's start off with Gene. Gene is first up on Pushing the Limits. Hi, Gene. Thanks for calling in.
What's up, Gene? How are you?
What's on your mind?
Well, don't torture us anymore with Levin. He's so obnoxious, and he's a criminal, and he's gross, and he's disgusting.
You're not going to hear an argument from me, Gene. I agree.
No, I had a question for you, Brian. I heard on Morning Joe this morning that they might not take Trump's mugshot, which I hope they don't, because that's just something else he'll get rich off of.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, Gene, because he's already raised, allegedly, around $5 million. And for somebody that claims to be a billionaire, isn't it interesting how he's begging for money? Claims to be a billionaire, but he'll sell you that Trump mug for $19.99. But yet he's a billionaire. So many of these people that are donating to the Trump campaign are despicable human beings because they're donating to him after this indictment. It's like if you're a criminal or an alleged criminal, some of Donald Trump's base, they want you to be a criminal. It's like they enjoy it. But hey, let's talk about Hunter Biden's laptop. I mean, I just don't understand these people, except that most of them are extremely stupid. I don't know what else to say.
Well, it's so sad. I just can't believe we have this many stupid people in the world handing over their money and everything else.
Yeah, you know what I say? Go ahead. Donate it all to Donald Trump. You deserve to be broke. Give your kids college tuition money. Donate it all to Donald Trump, you buffoons. I've had it with them. I really have. I've had it with them. Don't you think it's interesting that many of these Republicans, like the Mark Levins of the world, the great one, Mark Levin, they call themselves constitutionalists and they believe in our justice system. But if anybody charges a Republican, even without knowing any of the evidence or the charges, they automatically assume that he must be innocent and he couldn't have committed any crimes. I find it so interesting.
Hey, did you also hear last night on Midas Touch, there's a guy that has what's his name, boat show? Anyway.
The guy that does Burn the Boat.
Oh, he does, it's his...
Wait, who's that in the background?
Who's in the background?
Wait, hold on. Who's listening to your phone call, Gene? Is that your husband? Who is that?
Yeah, that's my husband in the back. We follow all this stuff. But anyway, he came out and said last night that in the military, they're going to stop showing all this Fox News propaganda and stuff to the guys because it's not good for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the way I feel about this, Gene, and you could tell me whether you can tell me whether you disagree with me or not. I actually think this could be a good thing for Democrats. And hear me out.
Him being...
Hear me out.
In 2024, the Democrats are going to kill the Republicans. You watch.
Yeah, well, hopefully not literally, figuratively. But let me explain why I say what I say. I think this will help Donald Trump within the Republican Party because they're a bunch of idiots. This guy's a criminal. Even he'll probably get convicted with a couple misdemeanors. This will help Donald Trump defeat Ron DeSantis if, in fact, Ron DeSantis runs for president. Donald Trump is not going to defeat Joe Biden. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I doubt it.
He lost the popular vote to Hillary. He lost the popular vote badly to Joe Biden. And you're not going to get middle-of-the-road people, more middle-of-the-road people, who Donald Trump needs to vote for him in 2024. This is going to help Democrats. It will help Donald Trump win the nominee on the right, but it will not help him defeat the Democrats in the 2024
No, he won't get enough votes.
Yeah.
Nope, he won't get enough.
I agree, Gene. It's good to hear from you, as always, and I appreciate the call, okay?
Thank you, Gene.
Hey, did you hear the thing about DeSantis the other day wanting to run his own state military?
Yeah, I heard that, and that he wouldn't help with the extradition of Donald Trump, and you know, he's not ready for the prime time. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I got a feeling he might back out on running for president, being he's getting so much control down in Florida for all those dummies down there. He's gonna turn that whole state into a fascist state.
Yeah, well, he already has, unfortunately, with some of the policies.
He's still going with the military now. They're talking about him having his own private military in the state.
You are correct in this sense, Gene, that Ron DeSantis may not run in 2024. It might be 2028. I agree with you, Gene. Yep, I do.
He's just as sick as Trump. He's just nicer.
I don't know if he's nicer. I don't know if I'd agree with you on that.
He doesn't run his mouth. You know what I mean?
Not as much. You're right. Not as much. I agree with you there.
He's just as sick and twisted and just as bad.
Yeah, well, again, you're not going to hear an argument from me there. Thank you for the call, Gene. I appreciate it.
Have a good day, guys.
Thank you. You too. 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to join the conversation, we're talking about, of course, Donald Trump, a historic day tomorrow, going to be indicted. He's going to make his day in court tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. 702-221-7283. Maybe you agree. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think maybe you agree with Mark Levin, the great one, Mark Levin. Maybe you think that even though you don't have all the evidence and you don't even know the charges, that Donald Trump can't do no wrong. He couldn't have broken the law. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Carl. Carl is next.
What's up, Carl?
Hey, hi, Jamie, Brian. I hope you're both doing good.
Yeah.
Anyway, good. Listen, you mentioned before that one of the charges is going to be probably corrupt business practices. Well, so think back, either one of you. Can you think of one business he has ever been in that wasn't corrupt, where it wasn't a scam, where he didn't try to grip money from people? I can't think of one business he's ever been in that wasn't a scam. I don't know if you can think of one.
Well, I mean, we can date back to his days and the properties that he owned just in Manhattan with all the lawsuits that were filed against him for discrimination against people who are black. He paid off a lot of people there. We can talk about his corrupt Trump University, which we all know was a complete joke and a Ponzi scheme.
Well, don't make fun of that. I graduated from that.
I didn't know that. Well, I had lost respect for you. You're not as well educated as I thought you were. But
yeah, with honors. I graduated with honors. Yes,
I bet you did.
I'm very proud of it.
I mean, when you look at this man's life, he's been a snake oil salesman his whole life. He has only been out for himself. The way he's treated women his whole life, the way he's treated members of his own family, the cheating, the lying, and now he's finally caught. And it's interesting. I was watching even Fox News earlier today, and they interviewed somebody, a source that is, I guess, very close to Donald Trump, one of his former attorneys, and they had told Fox News that Trump said this is not good for him, and he was surprised, and this is not something he wants to do. So he might paint the picture that this is great and he's the tough guy. This is not good for Donald Trump long haul. This is not something he wanted. Let's remember the Georgia Secretary of State phone call that he had. There's going to be an indictment there eventually. Possible incitement of the January 6th insurrection. There could be an incitement there. Certainly there will be an indictment with the classified documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago. There are more serious crimes down the road. This is just a start, Carl.
Well, yeah, I'm sure, but you also mentioned, too, about him not trying to raise money, but selling $10, $15, $20 things to make money. He's no, as he said, he claims to be a billionaire, which he's not. I'll be honest with you, there isn't one bank in the United States that will loan him 75 cents, and the money he used to get from a bank in Europe stopped. Will not. As a matter of fact, is being sued. He can't get money from anywhere. All his properties are completely underwater. He owes more than he's been. I'll tell you, between you and me, we could probably buy and sell him. But but I'm telling you, the man is drowning financially as well as every other way.
Well,
And,
you're not going to get an argument from me. I think tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. We'll have to.
Tomorrow's gonna be so chaotic.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it goes, Carl. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. Thanks for calling in, my friend.
Okay,
I appreciate it.
Take care.
Yep, bye-bye. What I'm interested to see, Jamie, and by the way, the number to call 702-221-7283. What I'm interested to see is I'm interested to see the evidence. I'm interested to see what exact charges are filed.
Yep.
So I have a lot of questions, I guess, more than answers at this point. But tomorrow's going to be we're living in unprecedented times, right? We have a former president who's running for office who is going to be in court tomorrow, who's going to be indicted.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of a surreal moment in the history of this country.
And do you think they're going to actually go live from the courtroom tomorrow?
My understanding is that Trump's attorneys do not want that to happen. They don't want a camera. There's going to be a camera in the hallway.
Right.
My understanding, there's going to be a camera in the hallway as he walks into the courtroom. I don't know if there's going to be a camera in the courtroom or not. Now, obviously, I would imagine most of the general public, Republican or Democrat, MAGA supporter or not, you'd like to see a camera in there.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is yes. I think there should be cameras in every courtroom in the United States of America. Why? Because we pay our tax dollars. That's why. And we deserve to see it. It could be a boring case that nobody cares about, or it could be one of the highest profile cases like this one, or the OJ case.
I think it also just holds everybody accountable to actually follow the law as well. At the end of the day, the Republicans keep talking about how there needs to be justice. We need to follow the law, and everybody needs to be disbarred because this is a witch hunt. Well, if you put a camera in there, we can see actually what's going on and understand why this man's actually being indicted.
Yeah.
Those are the facts you need.
I think tomorrow is going to be a spectacle in a lot of different ways. Listen, one thing Donald Trump does give is ratings.
He's a reality TV show star.
Yeah, well, everybody's talking about him. He's good for ratings. He's good for Fox News. He's good for CNN, the left, the right. But this is an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to this country when we have a former president up there. Listen, we know what happened here. I don't know exactly what the charges are, and I don't know exactly what type of evidence they have. And unlike Mark Levin, I will say I am speculating here. But the logist around this is very, very simple. Donald Trump is a bad guy. Okay, what he did was he decided, allegedly, to have unprotected sex with porn star Stormy Daniels just months after Melania had a child. Now, that is not against the law. That makes you a scumbag, but that is not against the law. What is against the law here are possible campaign finance violations, and some of those charges could be felonies. The fixer, Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's former attorney, went to jail. It still could be a felony. So that's why I say this is serious. But we'll have to wait and see. I would assume it could be later today, or it could be tomorrow, where we will all actually see the charges and maybe some of the exculpatory evidence. But he's going to be appearing in court tomorrow. We know that. Barring some crazy situation that halts the proceedings, which I don't see happening at this point because he just landed in New York, Jamie, right? And and I would imagine he's heading to the Trump Tower. And it's so funny because I listened to, a statement that Donald Trump's daughter made. This is a bad day for the country and it's a bad day for my family. Well, no crap. It's because your father is a piece of human scum. That's why, who thinks he's above the law. Maybe if your father didn't have unprotected sex with Stormy Daniels and probably lie about it, then maybe he wouldn't be in this situation to begin with. Right. But she doesn't want to put any of it on her father. It's really wild. It's really crazy. All right, let's get back to the phones. 702-221-7283 is the number to call again. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Fernando. Fernando, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, good show. I got to give Mark Cohen a lot of credit
Michael.
Yep. Oh yeah, Michael Cohen, the lawyer.
Right. Yep.
For testifying 22 times. Mm-hmm. He had all the documents. He was there. He knows everything about Trump and the way he works. And this morning, I don't know if you saw it on CNN, but they had Trump's attorney on, Alina Habba, I think her name is.
Uh-huh.
And she looked ridiculous, and she was saying this is garbage, everything's garbage, and it's just, I know she has to protect him, the defense lawyer, but she sounds so ridiculous. And
she does,
Mark,
but Fernando, let me ask you this, Fernando, and you're right, she did sound ridiculous, but it's one thing if Trump's attorneys are doing that, right, because it's their job to defend their client to the best of their ability. That's one thing, and even though we can disagree with them, that's one thing. But what about all the Republicans out there, even a Mike Pence, who go on the air and use their platforms without even knowing the evidence or the charges and making all these bizarre claims like this is only a political witch hunt and Donald Trump couldn't have broken the law without having any evidence in front of them? Those are the people that I have a problem with. Not even Trump's attorneys as much as others,
Yeah, me too. I mean, all the Republicans coming out and they're saying everything's, against him and this and that. Everybody's against him. Well, I mean, these Republicans are hypocrites. I mean, can you imagine if this was a Democratic president or ex-president doing all these issues, going through these allegations or investigations?
Yeah.
Republicans will be every single day guilty, guilty, guilty. He's a traitor. He's this. He's, you know what I mean?
No, so I hear you, and I can guarantee you one thing, Fernando. Even if he's convicted, the Republicans will still say it was a witch hunt and Donald Trump is innocent, even if he's convicted in a court of law.
With all the facts.
Correct. And the Republican Party, they call themselves the party of law and order. They're the opposite of that. They're the complete opposite of that. And I guarantee you he's going to be indicted in the Georgia Secretary of State phone call that he made, classified documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago. But Republicans will continue to make the claim that it's a witch hunt, and it's George Soros funded, DA and attorneys, and as if there aren't Republicans in the FBI. There's no Republicans that are judges. Fernando, it's just going to get worse in the next 24 hours. I hope that there's not a crazy person that's going to do something bad tomorrow. I do worry about that. And if you listen to right-wing echo chamber radio, which I would assume, Fernando, you probably don't, but sadly I was listening to one of those radio hosts coming in here, and they made the claim, somebody's going to be wearing a MAGA hat that's a liberal, and it's going to do something very, very bad. It's the same thing we heard about January 6th. After January 6th, Republicans claimed that it was all George Soros-backed Democrats that stormed the Capitol. And we learned in a courtroom that was a lie, that they were not Democrats. Many of them were white supremacists. They were from right-wing fringe groups. But yet people like Mark Levin will still fail to do that. And if something happens tomorrow bad, and I hope it doesn't, but if a violent act is committed, the first thing we will hear from Republicans, that was Antifa, or that was a Democrat, because they don't want to deal with the fact that those in their own party can also be violent.
Yep.
That's right. Exactly right. I agree with you guys 1,000,000%.
Fernando, who wins the game tonight? Who wins the game tonight before we let you go? Who wins?
Oh, my gosh. I want San Diego State. I know UConn is tough, but take the points and go with the over.
I'm kind of with you with the over. I'm kind of with you with that one, Fernando. We'll give out our picks a little bit later. Just make sure to bet the opposite of Chris Winn, okay?
Oh, yeah, definitely. 1,000,000%.
Fernando, good to hear from you, my friend. I appreciate the call.
Take care, guys.
Take care. 702-221-7283. Good news for you listeners out there. We will be getting a C-Win pick. I want to play you the Mark Levin second cut, the longer one. I want to play it again, and I want to just hear it again because, Jamie, to me it's so poignant. Because Mark Levin speaks for a lot of Republicans today that are defending Donald Trump. And I want to get your thoughts on it, too, as it goes here. Because he had a meltdown, and we played a little bit of it last segment. He has a meltdown on the Sean Hannity show yesterday, and he says things that are so absurd, that are so ridiculous, that I want people to hear it again, because this is where the Republican Party is at, most of whom that defend Donald Trump feel the way Mark Levin feels. In this audio, he's saying that this DA should be in jail. He makes ridiculous claims about charges that he doesn't even know, or evidence that he isn't aware of. This is his appearance on Sean Hannity's TV show, and I just want to play this for you, the second cut, and then we'll go afterwards. Go ahead.
We must circle the wagons and defeat the Democrat Party, their DAs in Manhattan, Atlanta, their special counsel in Washington, these cases that they're bringing in Democrat cities with Democrat grand juries, with Democrat judges, with Democrat juries. This is a battle where the Democrat Party has now dragged the country into tyranny. That is what they've done. They want to change the election rules so they can't lose. The borders are wide open. They don't enforce the law. They want to pack the Supreme Court. They want to pack the Senate. They've gone after Trump on the Emoluments Clause. They've gone after him on everything they possibly can. Now they want to decide who the Republican nominee for president will be. The Democrat Party is the party of profit. It's the party of Stalin. It doesn't believe that babies that are born should be protected after they're born, that it's a choice. This is a party that is out of control. Their DAs are out of control. Alvin Bragg should be disbarred. Rather than wringing our hands, let's take some action. The DA in Atlanta, she should be disbarred.
Oh, wow.
The guy that's running the investigation in Washington, D.C.,
All right.
his family is loaded with...
I've had enough. You can cut it. I've had enough of this idiot. All right, so Jamie, let's go down the list here.
Yeah.
Mark Levin, who is the biggest right-wing buffoon on the planet, says that this is a Democrat grand jury. That's the state, right? I'm not hearing things.
Is that facts?
That's what he said. Does he know the names of one person on the grand jury?
Not at all.
He's a liar, right? Okay. Are we
We're
clear on that?
What he thinks is that he knows all the facts and that everybody a part of this case is Democrats. Yeah. Does he not realize there are tons of Republicans who also don't like Trump? There's tons of Republicans who want to see Trump actually be responsible and be held accountable for the things he's done. Period.
But to be clear, he said this was a Democrat-run grand jury without knowing one name of one person that's on the grand jury. That is what a lying right-wing buffoon Mark Levin is. He said the Democrats are causing tyranny. What would you call January 6th?
Tyranny.
Wasn't that the definition of tyranny?
Right.
Who was behind that one? The orange turd who you support, Mark Levin, not you, Jamie.
I'm not orange.
The orange turd who Mark Levin supports is the reason why January 6th happened. That was the definition of tyranny. He says the borders are wide open.
Right.
Not true. Another lie. Now, you might disagree with some of the policies that Biden has put forth or lack of putting forth. You might not like the number of undocumented people that are in this country that might be crossing the border, but the borders are not wide open.
At all.
That is a lie. He talks about babies being protected, and he talks about the abortion. First of all, Mark Levin is in the minority. Most Republicans and Democrats agree that a woman should have the right to choose. But Mark Levin speaks like it's only Democrats that are... And by the way, we're not jumping on trampolines praising women for getting abortions. We would just want to give women the right to choose. We're not celebrating abortion, you dumb buffoon. And then he talks about how Democrats are stealing elections. Again, the nonsense of the 2020 election. But it's interesting. When Donald Trump was talking about how elections are stolen and rigged before the 2016 election, Donald Trump won. And you didn't hear a peep from Mark Levin after the 2016 election talking about any of this stuff. He wasn't talking about election integrity. Why? Because Donald Trump won the election. But since Trump lost in 2020, now he wants to claim that Democrats stole the election. Can Republicans steal elections? Did Republicans steal the 2016 election? No. You didn't hear Democrats. Hillary Clinton conceded the day after. You didn't hear a large majority of Democrats saying that Donald Trump stole the 2016 election. Everything that comes out of this man's mouth Mark Levin is diarrhea. It really, it's crap. Everything he says is a lie. He has no idea, like many of the Republicans, what the evidence is in this case with this Trump indictment. He doesn't even know the charges. He can't even name you one person that was on the grand jury that voted on enough evidence to indict Donald Trump. Yet he wants to make the baseless claim that these were Democrats that were on the grand jury. Mark Levin is a liar. He is a buffoon. He is a despicable human being. But he's the great one. He's the great idiot. Mark Levin is the great liar and the great idiot and the great propagandist. There is nothing great about Mark Levin.
I want to understand how people can sit there. I'll take that back. I want to understand how they view themselves. Does Mark Levin actually take a step back and listen to the things he says? Because if you take a listen to what he says, it makes no sense. It literally is all just chatter. There is no actual base to what he's saying.
But it makes sense. Here's
to who?
Okay, so
how?
I understand what you're saying.
How?
It makes sense to the Republican base. Because today the Republican base, they can't spell the word fact. Example, the 2020 election was stolen. The January 6th was a tourist visit. Donald Trump,
a tourist visit or a terrorist attack?
Well, of course it was a terrorist attack, but if you listen to a lot of these Republicans, they'll make it sound like it was a tourist visit. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's defending these felons who are in jail right now. And by the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the person who said she's going to be in front of the Trump Tower tomorrow. And if there is violence that happens, and I hope I'm wrong, I hope it doesn't happen tomorrow, but if there is violence, they will immediately claim what they claimed after January 6th, which was also a lie. It was
Democrats.
Antifa. Right, it was Democrats, it was Antifa, it was liberals wearing MAGA hats. That was a lie after January 6th. And I am afraid because all it takes is one person. All it takes is one crazy person that is willing to risk their own life. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that doesn't happen. But Donald Trump has not come out and said, we don't want protests. We don't want violence. Donald Trump will not do that. I guarantee you he won't do that. He's going to incite again. And I'm worried. I'm not necessarily worried about where we're at right now across the country. I'm worried about what could happen in New York tomorrow. I am worried.
And they're setting up for that, right?
Well, there's going to be security and barricades and all that stuff. But you can only do so much.
I mean, again, look at January 6th. Yes, I mean, that was, who could prepare for that? You're not going to think that a large group of people are just going to attack or storm a historical site. You're just not going to think that. You're not going to think that a governmental site will be under attack because of one person who just can't hold themselves accountable for their own actions.
I hope nothing bad happens to anybody. I don't care whether you're a Trump supporter or not. We don't want violence. We don't want any of that stuff to happen. But when you hear the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, saying that they're going to go there and protest, and the Lauren Boeberts, and when you hear people make statements like that, the crazies follow. And I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that doesn't happen tomorrow. We're going to have a guest tomorrow from Politico that's going to be joining us. He's scheduled to be arraigned, and I could have this time wrong, but I believe around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's going to be way before our show. We're talking 8:30 in the morning. So we'll probably have a lot of information to digest. Tomorrow, the former chair of the Republican Party here, Amy Tarkanian, will be joining us on the show tomorrow. So it'll be very interesting to get her take on the proceedings. And I have no idea what her opinion is on this. She might say it's a political witch hunt too. I have no idea. But I do respect her opinion, and I want to get her thoughts. She's going to be joining us on the air tomorrow as well. It's going to be a crazy news day. It's going to be wild. And I hope nothing bad happens. Jamie, I hope no we don't see violence, and but this is an unprecedented day in the history of this country that is going to take place tomorrow. My eyes are going to be glued to the TV, even though I will be watching the national championship game tonight. Hey, we're going to have some fun when we come back. Chris Winn's going to be joining us in studio. We're going to talk about, again, I can't believe I'm saying this, the San Diego State Aztecs playing for a national championship today. And I'm not talking about golf or tennis. I'm talking about basketball, college basketball. It's wild. We're going to get Chris Winn's take on that. We're also going to talk about, it is controversy, LSU star Angel Reese defending her gesture aimed at the Iowa Hawkeyes' Caitlin Clark. Is it unfair? I'm going to tell you why I think it's fair, and I kind of agree with Keith Olbermann.
You think what is fair?
What Reese did. I think she deserves some criticism, and I'll tell you why when we come back. I know you disagree with me.
I disagree with you.
I'm going to tell you why I thought what she did was wrong when we come back, and then maybe we can get into a good debate on that. Chris Winn joining us next as well. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You are listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At
There's
Sahara
a
West
concern that the
Urgent
bacteria
Care,
linked
take care
to
of
tainted
all
eye
your
drops
healthcare
imported
needs.
from
They
India
offer
could
routine
gain
services
traction
such
in
as
American
physical
healthcare
testing,
facilities.
testing,
The
car
CDC
accident
says the
treatment and
bacteria
work
is
injuries.
highly
You name it,
drug
they do
resistant.
it. They have
Earlier
on-site
this year, the
X-ray,
FDA
EKG,
issued a recall.
ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Jumpers Jungle Family Fun Center is an indoor children's jump and party space in Las Vegas, located at 2050 South Rainbow Boulevard. Kids of all ages can come and jump on our bouncers, race through the obstacle courses, speed down the mega slides, slam dunk into the basketball hoops, and much more. Are you looking for that perfect birthday party venue? Look no further. Jumpers Jungle has a party package that will fit your needs. Check out the open play schedule online at jumpersjungle.com or call 702-463-JUMP. It's time to jump your way to fun at Jumpers Jungle on the corner of Oakey and Rainbow.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Look, it's impossible for the average person to find a great attorney out there. There's so much misinformation. Now, let me introduce you to former Chief Deputy District Attorney Thomas Moskal. He was Las Vegas's top DUI prosecutor for years. He prosecuted the most high-profile DUI cases in Clark County. No one knows more about DUI law in Nevada. Just Google it. If you get charged with DUI, whether it's a misdemeanor or even more importantly, a felony, you need Thomas Moskal representing you. His relationships with the prosecutors and judges and his knowledge of DUI law to work for you. So give him a call now or text him at 702-848-5555. It's your life and liberty that's at stake. Don't wait. Call now. That number again, 702-848-5555.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
The best choice for convenience, comfort, and value, My Place hotels are ideal for both short-term and long-term travelers. The rooms at My Place features pillow-top mattresses, microfiber bedding, and a variety of soft and firm pillows. All extended stay rooms offer their own kitchen, which includes a full-size refrigerator and a cooktop. On-site laundry facilities are also available for extended stays at pet-friendly My Place hotels. Book your stays online at myplacehotels.com. My Place Hotels, St. George and West Jordan, Utah. Make My Place your place.
Hey, everybody, are you
Look, it's impossible for the average person to find a great attorney out there. There's so much misinformation. Now, let me introduce you to former Chief Deputy District Attorney Thomas Moskal. He was Las Vegas's top DUI prosecutor for years. He prosecuted the most high-profile DUI cases in Clark County. No one knows more about DUI law in Nevada. Just Google it. If you get charged with DUI, whether it's a misdemeanor or even more importantly, a felony, you need Thomas Moskal representing you. His relationships with the prosecutors and judges and his knowledge of DUI law to work for you. So give him a call now or text him at 702-848-5555. It's your life and liberty that's at stake. Don't wait. Call now. That number again, 702-848-5555.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pushing the Limits Live on KSHP. Hey, you can catch us on all of our social media platforms at PTL Radio Show. That's PTLRADIOSHOW. You don't want to miss our actual facial expressions, what we're doing behind the scenes, and who we have in the studios when we do have guests. Remember, that's PTL Radio Show. Welcome back.
Yeah, you don't want to see my face after San Diego State Aztecs won at the buzzer. Anyway, joining us, well, before I get to that, I want to tell you guys about our favorite gaming bar in town. I have a feeling that Chris Winn's going to be making an appearance, and of course I'm talking about Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Great food, great atmosphere, great place to watch a game, but they have amazing promotions. And Chris is going to like this because they have a very, very good Keno promotion that is running this month as well, and they have special times where you show up at the bar, and if you're just sitting there and playing, you can get free slot play. It could be anything from $50 to $100. Different hours of the day where it's a hot seat where you can just win free slot play. And I know Chris Winn likes his free slot play, so please check him out, as do I, by the way. Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Chris, what's happening, man?
What's up, Chris?
Hi. It's good to be here, obviously.
Coming in hot.
Audio issues. Hey, first time in the new format, I've had a chance to join you guys in studio with Jamie D and Brian Shapiro. Big fan. Liking kind of the setup of the show.
Well,
and Brian and Jamie, I know, look, it's Monday, right? So I've joined the show a lot on Mondays with Brian. Yep. And we always say this every week, right, Brian? That it's because it's the first day of the week. There's always so much to talk about and so much to go over. Well, guys, let me tell you something. There is again this week. There's a little bit going on, right? This week that went on this weekend, and that's about to take place in the next 24 hours. Yep. There's a few things to talk about. So this is honestly one of those shows where you could probably go for 5-6 hours easy to discuss everything that that has gone down.
That's what some of my dates tell me, but it doesn't always work out that way. Orange Turd's in some trouble, But I want to talk to you about the Women's National Championship game. Congratulations to LSU for winning the national championship. And listen, Caitlin Clark's a great player. I wouldn't bet against her next year. But I want to talk to you. I guess you could call it a controversy. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't cover or follow Division I women's college basketball maybe as much as I should.
That is your fault.
I didn't know who Angel Reese was. I'm going to be honest with you. Didn't know who she was. She's an LSU player. She's obviously a good player. She's their starting power forward, I believe, center. She had 15 points and 10 boards yesterday. She had a really good game, and she was no doubt a big part of their national championship win. So I guess there's like a gesture that some players make.
You can't see me.
There's not. No, it's not some players, Brian. It was a couple of players have made that gesture.
Thank you.
Two in the women's NCAA tournament. It's Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese that have made the gesture.
So the facts. So the facts are as follows, and I want to give context to it because I think it's important.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark did this earlier in the tournament
against Louisville.
Yep.
In the middle of a game. The game was not over. It was in the heat of competition, And I am one to tell you that I have no problem with trash talking. I think it's good for college sports. I think it's good for professional sports, as long as you're not threatening somebody or saying something racist. So basically, as long as you're not Donald Trump, you should be okay. But in all seriousness, I'm for trash talking. I like it. I think it's good for sports, right? So anyway, there's like 15 seconds left to go in the national championship game yesterday. The game's over. They're running out the clock. It's like a 17-point game. The game's over. Angel Reese does that same gesture that
to Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
to Caitlin Clark.
By the way, about 2 feet from her.
Yeah,
and then after that, in her face, says, "Hey, I got the ring. I got the ring." Do I think this is a huge deal? No, I don't. But I do believe what Angel Reese did was classless, and here's why. Here's why I say that.
Here we go. Here we go, Jamie. Here we go. Hot take time.
The reason why I say it's classless. And I don't know if I'd call her an effing idiot like Keith Olbermann did.
That was way too much.
Or what Dave Portnoy said.
But
you called her a POS.
Yes.
Well,
I don't know if I'd go that far, but here's why I say that moment.
Well, you wouldn't go that far.
She was classless, and here's why. When you look at some of the best trash talkers in the history of basketball, football, baseball, you name it, they will tell you, you do it during the course of a game in the heat of competition. My only problem is she did it when the game was over.
17 seconds.
That's the time where you're shaking hands, you can celebrate with your team, and you say, hey, good game, good game. Instead, she took it upon herself to throw it in Caitlin Clark's face. While I don't agree with all the personal attacks of Angel Reese, I believe her timing was off. If you do that in the third quarter or even at some point during the fourth quarter, say she makes a shot and they're up 15 in the fourth with like 5 minutes to go, I wouldn't really have had a problem with that. But she decided to do it when they're walking literally to the shaking hands line after the game. The timing was off, it was wrong, and I think it was classless. And by the way, Angel Reese does this press conference after the game, and she's making it, in a way she made it racial.
Who made it racial?
I know she didn't. No, you're mischaracterizing. Okay,
wait,
so look, Brian, we got to push back. Okay, so Jamie,
and I'll tell you why.
Wait, I want to hear that
push
part.
Back. Yeah, we got to push back.
Actually, wait, hold on. First of all,
okay, so finish your point, Brian. Finish your point.
Yeah,
that's what I was doing. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
She called it a double standard. She called it a double standard, and even though she didn't point out the fact that Caitlin is white and she's black, she also told the media that she's, you guys say I'm from the hood and I'm ghetto. So she's the one who made it racial, not me. She said that in her press conference, and she talked about how people call her ghetto. By the way, I haven't heard any member of the national media talk like that, and I wouldn't condone it, by the way. But she's the one who made it racial. And then she talked about the double standard, which I thought was ridiculous, too. If Caitlin Clark did the exact same thing at that moment, I would have criticized her as well.
Would you?
Yes, I would have. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. You just won the game. There's 10 seconds left to go. You're literally getting in the line. Caitlin is literally walking towards the line, and she said this in the press conference. That was the point where she was just trying to get in the line and shake hands. It's the wrong time to. What's wrong, Chris? Are you convulsing?
I just
Chris wants you to hurry up.
Yeah, because we need to respond.
We need time to talk.
All right, I need to respond. Okay. Here's the thing. As the Italians would say right here, here's a couple, 3 things, Brian. First of all, I take issue with the way that you characterize the situation. All right.
Facts.
It was not trash talking. And look, there's been a lot of dialogue in the last 24 hours regarding this situation, and it is blown up on social media. And I agree with what Brian initially said when you said that I don't think this should be a huge deal.
It shouldn't.
Okay?
It's not a deal at all.
It shouldn't be, but it has become one in the last 24 hours because context has been taken into account. Yep. And also, yes, it is something that has sparked a debate with respect to race, with respect to competition, and it's all collided. And we talk about this all the time in America. America's a divided country, right? And everyone is on edge, and everybody wants to and because of social media, everybody has a voice and has their take. And so, yes, in the last 24 hours, there's been a ton of fervent responses on social media regarding this. This was not trash talking what both Caitlin Clark did, okay, and you characterized it and you mischaracterized it as far as what Caitlin Clark was not trash talking, okay? It wasn't, and I don't know if my audio's still on or not. I'm not picking up anything. So the point being is that it was not. It was taunting. What took place with what Caitlin Clark did and what Angel Reese did on Sunday were taunting gestures towards players.
Right.
Caitlin Clark did it towards the player, the star player who's Van Fifth, I think her name was,
Right.
from Louisville in the Elite Eight. And people are mischaracterizing on social media, say, "Oh no, she just did it to her
Right.
teammates on the bench," which is BS.
Right.
It's not true.
Right.
She was doing it towards the Louisville players as she was walking to her bench,
Yep.
and the players are walking off. So that's a mischaracterization that you're saying. Oh, Caitlin Clark was just doing it. It was. And yes, from a time standpoint, what Caitlin Clark did was for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
What Angel Reese did was for 12 seconds.
Yeah.
So, listening to Jay Williams talk about this morning, as well as Chris Canty and Max Kellerman, who do a national show, and Jay Williams nailed it about everything except for the trash talking part. People are calling it trash talking. It's not. It is taunting.
Yeah.
Okay? It is absolutely taunting.
Yeah.
All right? And so he was wrong about that, but he's right about this. The reason why this is an issue, and people are discussing it, is because of the reaction to what Caitlin Clark did, and the fact that she happens to be a white woman, a young woman that's 20 years old that happens to be white, and the reaction to Angel Reese, who happens to be black,
Right.
and happens to come from a background, from
from the hood.
inner city background.
but
So that is what has really sparked this,
Right.
and what has gotten everybody's opinions fired up. But the characterization, I have a real issue.
Right, Chris, now it's my time to talk.
Okay, so excuse me, wait a minute, time out.
Brian's on the.
Chef
Listen,
hold on,
wait. If you guys,
I
got you. Okay,
Just let me finish.
Go ahead.
So, the whole reason this has become an issue, guys, is because of the people are up in arms and
Yes.
sanctimonious about Angel Reese saying that, and Brian just used the phrase. Brian just talked about it. Oh, she was classless, and she was unsportsmanlike, and words like thug.
Right.
And ghetto
I didn't
are
use that word.
associated with. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about
Give me a
everybody.
buzzer.
Okay, so time out, bro. I'm not talking about just you. Okay.
I need you guys
Yes.
to be on this radio show.
Words like that have been used with her, but words when talking about Caitlin Clark when she does it are what? She's gritty. She's hard nosed.
Right.
She's she's been the talk of the tournament, and rightfully so. She's a great player, right?
Right.
So it's the word association with the individual athletes, and the fact that one happens to be white and one happens to be black that has really sparked all this on social media. And yes, it's a social media fabricated situation that now everyone's responding to in the last 24 hours on all types of media, whether it be radio, television, whatever. And so, but don't mischaracterize it, man. I got to check you on that. Don't mischaracterize it as if, oh yeah, Caitlin Clark didn't do anything, okay, except for just make that motion, and it was just a second, instantaneous thing.
Right.
And then Angel Reese all of a sudden is classless and was unsportsmanlike and all this, as if what she did was so terrible, and what Caitlin Clark did was just fine, because
real
it's the
quick,
wrong way to characterize
Real
it.
quick, before I get into my statement, this is exactly why I think you guys need to you all should be watching us on our YouTube. You're missing all these reactions in the background. Chris and Brian, I can't. Anyway, my thought process behind this whole issue is this. In the words of a rap artist you guys don't know, I'm sure, Finesse 2 times, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
Yeah.
Beep them. My issue to all of this is, Brian, you said that you would talk about this if you knew Caitlin Clark did this at the same time.
You put a hypothetical out there, right? A hypothetical. That didn't
hypothetical.
happen.
But that didn't happen. But at the end of the day, you also made a mention that you don't follow them in sports. And people are only following them in sports right now because it is a racial thing. You have a woman from the hood who just took a championships for LSU. LSU already is a big name university. Then you have a woman from Baltimore, Maryland, who's out here doing something big for this university as an African-American woman. We have to remember there are so many times where black people in general are told to calm down. They're aggressive. They're doing too much, especially black women. So yes, it is a racial thing because when Caitlin Clark did it, it was just a part of the game. Now that Angel Reese is doing it, you're classless. You're doing too much. You're aggressive. This isn't taunting. Wait, because this isn't taunting. You are now actually putting pressure. This is street ball. It's not street ball because the same thing happens in the NBA. Granted, what I was talking to you about last week is it's all about the resources and having the same baseline as everybody else. This is women's basketball, but remove women's. It's basketball. It's okay to taunt. Whether she did it within the last 12 seconds or within the half quarter, my thing is the game was still on. She's making a point that, look, you all did not believe in me. Remember, Iowa was also taunting. Iowa was also saying that they're going to win. At the end of the day, this is a sport. When are we going to remove the fact and make everything so sensitive that sports are supposed to be a little bit aggressive? There's supposed to be some fun in it, and this is all fun and games. She wasn't doing it to say F Iowa. It's just, hey, I'm making a statement. If you go on her Twitter, she responded back and she was saying that she's not going to back down from what she's saying because at the end of the day, again, when Caitlin Clark did it, it was not news. On top of that, if we're looking at what makes this classless, what makes this classless is telling somebody that they can't live in their own happiness. What makes this classless is telling somebody that they can't rejoice in being a winner. Brian, if we won an award right now for the best radio show on the planet, if they told you or me that we can react a certain way, that would be BS. She's not hurting anybody. She's not hurting herself. She's not hurting the LSU brand. What makes this class is outside of her truly being a black woman who's happy.
But let me bounce one more thing off of both of you guys here. No, I want to respond to both of you. I want to toss something at you.
Can I respond to
it? It's not just about sportsmanship. It's about here's the thing. Here's the thing. I mean, look, you had me on for an hour to talk about this. I want to chime in. All right, so look, it's the Chris Winn show. You're here 5 days a week. Here's the deal. Okay, it's not. Look. And Jay Williams, okay, all due respect to Jamie D and Chris Winn and Brian Shapiro, I'm going to take Jay Williams, who was an NBA player, who was one of the best point guards Duke ever produced and was a legend in New Jersey as a basketball player. I'm going to take his word over all three of us. And when it comes to something like this on the court, and I agree 100% with him that if you wanted to tee up both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, I'd have no problem with it. Yep. I'd have no problem with teeing them up because it was taunting. It wasn't trash talking. It was taunting what both of the players did. And yes, you can. I say this all the time too, right? I say multiple things can be true. Okay, you can say that Angel Reese was wrong. Okay, and you can say that what she did was longer because it was. It was 12 seconds as opposed to what? Who
was going to justify that?
As opposed to that, but. You can also point out the hypocrisy, the word we use all the time, right? Yes. In media.
Yes.
The hypocrisy of the response to Angel Reese and the outrage of people saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe she did that."
And now all of a sudden we feel so bad for Caitlin.
When it comes to Caitlin Clark, okay, and what she did, everybody becomes blind, deaf, and mute and sticks their head in the sand.
And forget the facts.
That is what needs to be acknowledged, and that's why people are upset today, and that's why people are talking about this, about the women's final.
Yep.
And go back to what Brian brought up at the beginning of this, right? I'm not somebody who's hardcore women's basketball.
Right.
We talk about this a lot, all right? But it is an issue that has sparked debate in America in the last 24 hours, and it's legitimate.
Yeah.
Okay, can I respond now?
Yes.
Both of you. Okay. So first of all, Jamie, I completely disagree with you. The game wasn't, there was 15 seconds left to go in the game, but they were actually...
There was still time on the clock.
Okay.
There was still time on the clock.
If I could just finish.
Well, no, but you try to frame these things in a way that are not true, Brian. So that's why we're checking you. That's why we're checking you. You're trying to frame it in a way that's not necessarily accurate. Okay? Yes, there was time left on the clock. So go ahead.
I've been sitting here for 15
Mark
minutes.
Levin.
Yes.
I need more than 10 seconds.
Mark Levin.
So, Caitlin, there was no defense being played. They were dribbling the game out. To me, that's the end of the game. There's no competition going. Caitlin is walking to the line, okay? She's walking to the line to handshake people. She was literally walking.
She's walking back to her bench.
Okay, if I can just finish. She's walking back. The game is over, and she said in the press conference that she didn't even notice it because she was just trying to get into the line to shake hands. So that's okay. So hold on. So that's number one.
Pretty sure she saw it too.
Number two.
Yeah.
If you ask any guy or girl, whether it be the WNBA or the NBA, the trash talking takes place when the actual competition is happening. Maybe you made a shot, you blocked a shot, you're saying something in the heat of battle. That did not happen here. The game was over. She's pointing to the ring.
Wait, everybody's...
It wasn't trash talking. It was taunting.
Again, if you could just...
But you're saying things that are wrong, so we're responding to you. It's not trash talking.
I can't have a conversation.
Last time I checked, if you trash talk, you got to talk.
Okay,
so yeah.
I can't do it if you interrupt me every 10 seconds. It's very maddening.
Let him go.
Okay, maybe I'll start over again because I lost my train of thought. I kept quiet when you spoke for 10 minutes, and I disagreed with a lot of what you said.
Well, I don't know why you would, because I
was right. I don't know why you disagree with it. I'm 100% right.
Yes, hold on.
He won't shut up.
So go ahead.
This is why you need the millennial here, because you
won't shut up.
You guys are both very long-winded.
I didn't interrupt him once. I let him.
You just said you disagree with everything I said.
But I didn't interrupt you.
You're wrong then. If you disagree with what I said,
Okay.
you're just wrong.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
Thank you. That's very nice of you, Chris.
Go ahead.
Thank you for
It's your show.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. The game was over. She ordered Caitlin. By her words, she was going towards her bench and then trying to get in the line to do handshakes. That's number one. Number two, I think it sets a bad precedence for younger people. At the end of a game, when you just won a national championship, you're allowed to celebrate, do what you want. But to make gestures towards the other team, you're a sore winner.
You think so?
I know so. When you make gestures like that, make those type of gestures. Hey, I got a ring to your team, to the fans. I have no problem with that at all. But when you get in the face of who is arguably the best female college basketball player in the country,
Caitlin Clark,
and you
Irrelevant.
point, and you get to okay, in your opinion,
It's irrelevant.
But if you could just let me
Wait,
finish
keep going.
again.
That she's the best player. You just brought up that she's the best player in the
I
country.
can't talk for more
Keep
than
going.
15 seconds
Keep going.
without
Keep
Chris
going.
interrupting me.
think
I have
that's
other
also
things
You
to
keep
say.
saying things that are wrong. What am I going to do?
So
You
can
gonna
you
let it
just-
slide?
Can you let
I
me
guess.
finish? Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Done.
Go
That's,
ahead,
yeah.
I mean, you've been doing radio for a while. That's
I have. Yes, I have.
You let me talk and then you respond. Can we do that? Holy smokes! I mean, 10 seconds. Help me out here. She's pointing to the ring. She's 2 feet away from her
I
face.
get it. We get it.
She's doing
Yes.
all that stuff.
Yes, she is.
And the reason why I have an issue with her bringing up race, and I
With
can
who
tell
bring
you,
it up?
I can tell. Well, she's the one who brought it up in the press
She's
conference,
not.
not me. She
She's
brought
not.
it. Okay, again, I'm just trying to make a point here.
Go ahead.
My opinion on what she did, and by the way, I'm not calling her a blanking idiot.
Good.
I'm not doing.
Who called
it-
her
Keith Olbermann did.
Yep.
I believe in that moment she was classless, and she's
Caucasian man,
so
makes
for
sense.
me. So for me, well, the color of my skin to me has nothing.
Not
nothing
you.
to do with
not
my opinion.
You, not you.
I mean,
It's about Keith. It's about Keith.
I'm
Keith.
telling you, I've been around the game of basketball my whole life. I've officiated. I've played. I've been around the game my whole life. I've interviewed some of the best trash talkers in the game, and in that situation, when you whether it be Larry Bird or anybody in the women's game, Diana Taurasi, there's a lot of trash talkers in all of sports, right? Never had a problem with that. Never had a problem with that. I'm not that guy. They don't choose to trash talk with 10 seconds left to go when the game is over.
Who doesn't?
Professional athletes in general.
Okay.
We don't see that. You don't see that. Now, if Caitlin Clark does it, or if Angel Reese does it, I believe it's wrong.
Okay.
And I believe it's classless.
Okay.
You won the basketball game. Celebrate, and shake hands and be done with it. I like trash talking. And I think most competitors would agree, in the heat of competition, in the heat of battle. Maybe you made a couple shots. Maybe you blocked somebody. I would have loved it if Reese blocked one of Caitlin Clark's shots, maybe stuffed her, and then did the Dikembe Mutombo, get it out of here.
Right.
I think that's great.
Can I ask you a question?
But I think this was the wrong time
Wait,
to do that.
let
That's all.
me ask you this. What makes it the wrong time specifically? And be very...
When the game is over.
Pause. Be very concise.
Sure.
You said
I'll be very concise.
Okay, I appreciate that, because you said when the game is over.
Yeah.
You're saying that's not a chance to rejoice, taunt, be goofy? That's a
Okay,
part of
there's
the
a
sport,
difference.
Brian.
There's a difference between rejoicing. Hold on, I'm going to answer you.
Go ahead.
There's a difference between rejoicing and being goofy and doing what she did.
So when you were in sports, wait, real quick, Chris.
Yep.
When you played sports, you tell me there was never a time where your emotions, your feelings just let loose and you did what you did. We shouldn't have to regulate every waking moment about being you. She didn't push the girl. She didn't yell at the girl. She didn't call the girl sucky. She didn't say any bad words. Like I said sucky because it's the radio.
Yeah.
But my thing is, at the end of the day, it was a moment, not that big of a deal. It's sports.
I don't think it deserves the attention that national members of the media are giving. When I said to start this segment,
And I agree.
I think people are making it out to be a bigger deal than it is. This isn't something where she deserves a suspension. There was a story, I think it was a few weeks back, where in the line somebody punched somebody.
That's messed up.
In the women's game.
I saw that, yeah.
Okay, that's an assault. That's a
Yeah.
felony. Okay,
Yeah.
we're not even close to that, and
Yeah.
that's why I said to start this, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
All I'm saying is, when the game is over and they're dribbling out the clock, and you just won a national championship, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree with me, that's not the time to trash talk. And that's not the time to do gestures.
Okay, there are people that do agree with you.
And there was still-
okay,
there was still
and
that
they're
game,
wrong regarding this situation because you're talking about it like it's in a vacuum. All right, and you're talking about it as if race doesn't matter.
Right.
And as if
Nothing to do with
the percent. Okay, so
quick.
again,
Let me ask you this quick. I want to ask both of you this. I want to ask both of you because I want to know if this is a fact because you guys said you don't pay attention to women's sports like that.
I didn't say
No,
you didn't say that.
Wait. You said you don't pay attention.
To be honest, that doesn't really matter.
You said you don't
That's
pay
not
attention
really
like that.
relevant.
Did you not? You said you don't really pay attention like you should, right? So you don't pay attention like that. So my question to both of you is...
That's not what I said, though.
Okay.
I said I didn't know who Angel Reese was.
You said I don't pay attention to women's sports as much as I should.
That's not what I said.
Did you not say that?
I said I don't pay...
Regardless. So what I want to know is this.
Jamie, we're getting weird about that.
But for both of you guys, my question to you is this. When she did that gesture... Is that when the game had been called and they said they won?
No, there's still time on the clock. That doesn't matter.
And that's it does because he's saying that it's a time and place for when you do things. I feel like I would be on your side so much if they were walking in line about to shake hands. That's classless.
They were.
Oh, come on.
Hold on, let me just
bottom line this for both of you guys. Let me bottom line it.
Just explain to Jamie. I want to respond to what Jamie just said, and then Chris.
And I can bottom line it for
you.
And then
you take it from there. Jamie, they were dribbling out the clock. Nobody was playing defense.
Not in line.
The teams but they were walking towards that. The game was over. There is a what's the word I'm looking for? There's an understanding between both teams that when there's under 30 seconds on the shot clock and the game is over and the coaches say no foul, what they're basically saying is let's run out the clock and let's get into the line to shake hands because the game is over. Both coaches know that.
Yeah,
the players know that. The fans know that.
Yep.
That's exactly the time that this took place. Now, if people were still playing defense and the game was still going on, that would be a different circumstance. The game was over. The team was rejoicing. And in that moment, Angel Reese decided to do what she did.
That's a part of rejoicing.
Rejoicing is okay, but I don't think
That's a part of rejoicing.
I don't think what Angel Reese did should be a part of rejoicing and trash talking.
That's so
the other
sensitive.
team.
You talk about all the basketball players who need to stop being sensitive. You're being sensitive right now.
I
Brian.
disagree.
You're being sensitive.
I don't know why you would say that.
Get into the game, man. You're being sensitive.
I disagree with you. I don't think it has anything to do with being sensitive. In fact, I just told you.
If Caitlin Clark did this, they would be saying, like you said, she's not women's basketball.
I disagree with you.
College player, and
I don't know who you're
she
talking
deserves the right to be great.
I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm not talking like that. I can't speak for other people. I'm telling you that if Caitlin Clark did the exact, I don't care what the color of somebody's skin is. I don't care if they're man or woman.
I know you don't. I agree.
I don't care if they're man or woman. I remember when the Chris's Detroit Pistons, walked off the floor and did not shake hands against the Chicago Bulls.
That's messed up.
Yeah. They were wrong.
That's messed up.
That was poor sportsmanship. It doesn't matter how much you might hate somebody. You shake the other person's hand. And we've seen this in sports before. At the end of a tennis match, talking trash and not shaking the other person's hand. It was wrong then, and it's wrong now. Is it World War III? Is it a felony? No. Should she be suspended? No. I'm just saying it was wrong. It doesn't deserve the attention that it's got. She should be enjoying winning the national championship. That's no bearing on a member of the media calling her ghetto. I don't agree.
Real quick, because I want to fact check you real quick, because as a great millennial, we have a good researching skills. They weren't even walking in the line.
Yeah, I was already fact checking Shap about this earlier.
They were still playing the game.
He's characterizing the situation, not what it is.
I'm watching it right now. I'm watching it right now.
Mischaracterizing
They're still dribbling. They're still playing defense. I'm watching it right now.
How much time was left when
it does?
And was the game in hand?
It doesn't matter. Yes, there's a few
seconds left. Yes, the game was over. Of course,
exactly.
At no point were they going to catch up for sure.
They're up by 15 points.
Exactly.
They're up by 15 points.
They're not going to catch up.
The game was over.
There was still 15-ish seconds on the clock.
Guys, let me bottom line this for both of you. Let me bottom line it for both of you.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay? You can talk all until the cows come home, and we can split hairs about which was worse and who, one person was taunting, or people want to call it, keep calling it trash talking. It's not trash talking. It's taunting, okay? One person did it longer than the other person did. The reason, Brian, and you said this shouldn't be a big deal, and you're right. You have to be right. It shouldn't be a big deal. But the reason it is because it invokes race and it invokes sportsmanship, and people that have been coming out like yourself and want to give Angel Reese all this grief and want to be more vitriol and more upset and more outraged, okay, about what Angel Reese did. But when it comes to Caitlin Clark, you just want to, say, oh yeah, that's nothing to see here. That's over there. That it was just a quick little moment, and you're also not taking into account that there's a reason why Angel Reese did that. She didn't just do it out of it was a spontaneous, I'm going to do this to Caitlin Clark. The reason she did it is because Caitlin Clark did it against Louisville earlier in the tournament. Okay, that's why she did it. That's why she taunted her. You could have teed up both players. Brian, you're a freaking official. All right? You could absolutely tee up both players for taunting in both situations.
I'll give you another example.
So you're splitting hairs about. So you're splitting hairs. Let me finish real quick my sentence.
Because we got to.
Okay, I know, but just let me finish my sentence. Okay, you could have teed them both up. Okay, the reason this became a big deal in the last 24 hours is because of race being involved and because of sportsmanship and because it was the women's national championship game. That's why.
All right, so we got to take a break, but I'll just, you mentioned me being official. I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Angel Reese is also a diva. She reminds me a lot of Liz Cambage. Now, why do I say that?
You're right.
Why do I say that? She committed a foul, a questionable call maybe, but a foul in the game yesterday. She charges at the official, gets in the official's face. That can't happen. She should have gotten a technical foul. She never commits a foul. She can never do wrong. She's the one that is extremely sensitive. And I think that sets a bad precedence. I think her behavior on the court, like a Liz Cambage, is a bad precedent for younger ladies that want to be a college basketball player. I don't like her behavior on the court. I will say this also about Caitlin Clark, in my opinion, has nothing to do with race. She handled it with class. She ignored Angel Reese. She owned it. She gave praise to Reese. She gave praise to LSU. I didn't hear Angel Reese give any praise to Caitlin Clark. I didn't hear
Absolutely she did. See, you don't even know what you're talking about. Because after the game, on the set of ESPN, she talked about how she was a great player, and she absolutely praised her. So you're making comments about things you don't know about.
I am talking about in the press conference after the game when she was asked
talking about
the
on the set.
She was
immediately after the game.
She was
she
asked,
praised Caitlin Clark.
Okay.
So you're wrong.
I am talking
Right.
about.
You're just wrong,
I am
but
talking
that's
about
okay.
in the.
You
press,
can be wrong every once in a
he's
while,
not letting
Brian.
me talk again.
You can be wrong.
I am talking about in the press conference after the game when she was asked
At
about the
5:58
gesture.
p.m. She didn't
Okay.
praise
well,
her.
you don't want to. If you don't want to hear me,
according
if you don't want to hear me out, then there's
according to
nothing I
Brian's
can do.
opinion, yeah.
Okay.
At 5:57,
He doesn't want to hear me out. There's nothing I can do.
I played the buzzer like twice.
There's nothing you
All
can do.
right,
Yeah.
so we got to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the San Diego State Aztecs. I can't believe I'm saying this again. It sounds really weird. In the national championship game against the UConn Huskies. Going to break down the game, and I'm sure Chris will be right on everything he says when we come back.
I'm on your
also.
side, Angel.
Yes.
It's live on KSHP.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Look, it's impossible for the average person to find a great attorney out there. There's so much misinformation. Now, let me introduce you to former Chief Deputy District Attorney Thomas Moskal. He was Las Vegas's top DUI prosecutor for years. He
prosecuted the most high-profile DUI cases in Clark County. No one knows more about DUI law in Nevada. Just Google it. If you get charged with DUI, whether it's a misdemeanor or even more importantly, a felony, you need Thomas Moskal representing you. His relationships with the prosecutors and judges and his knowledge of DUI law to work for you. So give him a call now or text him at 702-848-5555. It's your life and liberty that's at stake. Don't wait. Call now. That number again, 702-848-5555.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site X-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams and treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client. So please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pushing the Limits live here on KSHP. You can catch us every Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. PST. Look, if you are not following our social media accounts, you're missing out. We're live right now on YouTube Live, and let me tell you, the behind the scenes right now between Chris Winn and Brian Shapiro is taking me out. Hey, follow us on all of our social media accounts at PTL Radio Show. That's PTL RADIO SHOW. We're talking sports. Hey, Brian, what we doing right now?
Well, we're talking about the national championship game.
Oh,
of
yeah.
course. And I got to tell you, folks, I watched San Diego State play multiple games this year, of course, being in the Mountain West Conference. Good basketball team. At the start of the tournament, I said to myself, they're probably the only Mountain West Conference team that can win some games in the tournament. I don't think anybody expected them to make it this far, let alone be in the championship game. But I got to give credit where credit is due. You know, Coach Fisher did a really good job with San Diego State. And when Dutcher took over, I thought he deserved the job. He's a longtime assistant to Fish. I don't think anybody expected Dutch to do the job that he has done. I mean, they're winning the conference tournament almost every year. They're a top 25 team. Dutch has done a phenomenal job. He and his coaching staff have done a phenomenal job. They develop players from the start of the year to the end of the year. This team has improved dramatically, particularly offensively, with different guys on this team that have contributed. And what makes this team has made this team really dangerous over the course of the last few weeks is their best player, Bradley, one of the best players in the Mountain West Conference. He hasn't even played very well. He shot the ball better the other night, but Bradley hasn't even given them the offense that they've needed, and they've been able to get the offense from other people. So I'm really impressed with the way the Aztecs have played. The buzzer beater was a special, historic shot in the Final Four. And then you have a UConn Huskies team that I've been praising for a very long time. I said when they came here in the Sweet 16, I said, this is my team that's going to win it all. I've been saying that, and I'm going to stick to that.
True.
But here's what makes this game very interesting to me. If, UConn has great guard play, that's a big advantage over San Diego State. But I don't think UConn's going to have the advantage underneath the basket in this game because San Diego State, they're so big, they're so strong, they're one of the best rebounding teams in the country. UConn is not going to be able to find their way, I don't think, under the basket as much as they have in the past. And I think this game is going to come down to guard play. I really do. I think San Diego State's going to be just fine and be able to hold their own under the basket. This is going to come down to making shots. UConn has a plethora of guys that can shoot the three. And I believe if San Diego State is going to have any chance to win, I think Bradley has to score at least 20 points in this game. I don't know about the spread. I'm staying away from that. I kind of lean towards the over, but I do think UConn wins this basketball game. I do.
So to Brian's point, right, about storylines, we love them, right, in the big dance guys when it comes to that, and we love intriguing prospects when it comes to that. And to his point that he brought up, as far as Dutch as the head coach at San Diego State, there's kind of an element to this game in which both of these coaches, whether it's Danny Hurley with UConn or Brian Dutcher with San Diego State, of an opportunity to get out from under a shadow, right? We love that. With Dutcher, obviously, it's with Steve Fisher, who he's been an assistant with for decades, essentially, as Steve was, and he came with Steve to San Diego from University of Michigan. They coached that Fab Five team, obviously, who everybody saw the documentary. You saw Dutcher and Fish and those guys in that. And so there's that element as far as him, if they win a national championship for the Aztecs, him getting out from under Steve Fisher. There's also the element, too, right, with Danny Hurley. Danny Hurley, brother, one of the best point guards in college basketball history, had a cup of coffee in the NBA, but, it's Bobby Hurley, right? So everybody knows who Bobby Hurley is. Everybody knows who Bob Hurley, their father, is, a legendary coach in New Jersey at the high school level. So there's that element that if UConn wins the national championship, look, UConn's won multiple national championships in the last 20 years. So they've been a team that's elevating from being a purple blood to a blue blood. If they win tonight, they're a blue blood program, in my humble opinion. But there is the element also that Danny Hurley, right? If they win a championship, he's the head coach of a national championship team, so he kind of gets out from under that Bob Hurley shadow. So that's the kind of an intriguing aspect of this that interests me. To Brian's point regarding on the court, right? As far as the players, yeah. With San Diego State, they have an inside presence. It's called Leday. It's called Mensah, right? They got guys that can play in the paint. So there's no question that there is a formula for San Diego State to win this game. Do I think the Aztecs are going to win? Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay. UConn's a better basketball team.
Yep.
As much as
are better overall.
Yeah. As much as we talk about the Aztecs and how good they are defensively, UConn is better defensively, and they're a better offensive team. So yes, if you want to just look at it straight and be flat up honest about it, UConn's a better basketball team. They should probably win. But this is the NCAA tournament. And unfortunately, right, guys? Right, Brian?
You never know what happens.
And right, Jamie? In this tournament, there's been 15 or 20 games in which you could have said exactly the same thing, that the other team's better on both sides of the ball
FAU.
And better at everything. And this team still didn't win the game. So we'll see what happens tonight.
Well, I look at the spread, and let's just go over that real quickly. It opened up at 131.5, the total. Then it went up to 133. Now it's at 132. Excuse me. Here's what I would recommend people do. I've given out like 20 straight winners on the show. It's crazy.
It's a 1-900 Brian Shapiro push right here, baby.
It is crazy how many winners I've given out on this show. So here's what I'm giving out right now. Here's what I recommend people do. I recommend they do a teaser, a 6-point basketball team. I never tell people to do this. Why? UConn's favored by 7. Tease them down to 1. All they have to do is win the game, hopefully by 2. But if they win by 1, you get a push anyway, so you're not losing. Do a 6-point teaser and tease it down to 1. If you like the over, why not buy that 6 points? Right now, you can get it down to 126. I do believe the UConn Huskies will get that number past 126. So I like a little 2-team parlay.
Wait, is the over 126 or 131.5?
It's 131. So,
okay.
So to your point, Brian, though,
points.
And Jamie, all right? So I talked about the formula, right? If San Diego State's going to win this basketball game, game's got to be under. I'm sorry, but it has to be. It's got to be a knockdown, drag-out type of 63-60 kind of game if San Diego State's going to win this basketball game. And what it transpires is what Brian talked about as far as UConn scoring a bunch of points. Then San Diego State's not going to win this game. So that would be the C-win assessment to this basketball game. If San Diego State is gonna cut down the nets tonight, there's got to be some serious defense on San Diego State's part, and they got to be opportunistic on the offensive side, and it's got to be one of those 123 to 126, 27-point type of games.
See, Winn, I love you, man, but the word around Vegas is go against what Winn says. So I don't know. I might have to bet the over.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, Jamie. That's not the word around Vegas. It's a funny quip.
It's a word around town. Listen,
by the way, I asked
don't drink the Kool-Aid, Jamie.
Jamie, I asked me and Anderson Hunt. We went to the NIT games.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Anderson. Yeah.
And I said, Anderson, how bad of a sports handicapper is Chris Winn? As a funny thing, Anderson looks at me in front of Fran Fraschilla, and he goes, definitely top 5 worst handicappers in the world.
Oh, wow.
I've never laughed so hard in my life, by the way. And Fran Fraschilla doesn't know who you are, but he started laughing,
Chris,
too.
Anderson's been skewed by some of our
Chris, there's a lot of
Anderson's
people in
a personal
town.
friend of ours, and he's been skewed by some of
I've been here for 2 weeks
friends.
so far, and a lot of people say, if Chris gives you a bet, go completely the opposite way. And I've been here
You're
for 2
talking to the
weeks.
wrong people, Jamie. You're talking to the fringe elements of here in Las Vegas, my friend.
I'm gonna have to go for the over.
So,
then.
Chris, what is your? I'll ask both of you. Chris, what is your play total and game? What is your play on this game?
I'm taking the under.
Oh boy, that makes me feel.
But
so
I haven't
much
taken a
better
side
about
yet,
my-
and I'm probably gonna take UConn money line and take the under.
Are you going to parlay it though?
So I'm going to parlay it.
Okay, so I'm okay then. So here's the thing, Jamie. Here's the intricacy.
Okay.
If he parlays it, even if you're on the side of one of his picks, he can still lose the bet by losing the other one. So I'm okay.
Wait, real quick. Can you explain to those non-sports betting people that are listening right now what does it mean to parlay it?
It means you're making 2 bets, or you can make 3 bets, or 4 bets, or 5.
Parlaying
is when you're making multiple bets, but they're all tied together.
So you can
get
bet for
paid
the
more
over.
money.
You
So
can bet
get
for
paid
the
more
over
money.
and the under. Or you have to pick one?
No, you can't do that. You can make. For example, there's 5 football games in a day, right?
Yeah.
Say you bet all 5 of those, and you want to tie them all together, right? And so you can make a bet for a certain amount of money,
Let me give
right?
it to you. Let
and
me
make
explain it
way
another
more
way.
money.
Let me
I was trying to explain it the simple way.
But I'm going to explain
I'm
it.
still confused.
I'm going to explain it. I'm going to explain it, Jamie, in an even more simple way.
Okay.
And it involves
So go against Chris.
the porn industry, and some of Chris's, some of his fan. He's a fan of. So let's
porn?
just say Chris said,
You're a fan of porn?
let's just say Chris said, I want to parlay a night with Evan Stone and Tommy Gunn. It means he wants to be with both of them at the same time. So it's a parlay. He wins if he gets both of them. So if Evan Stone showed up, but Tommy Gunn doesn't show up, he loses the parlay. But if Evan Stone and Tommy Gunn show up to his door, he wins the parlay. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Do you understand now?
Got you. Now, can you show me how you can?
That was
parlay
a good way to do it.
How do you parlay tonight?
I give Shaq
though?
credit there.
That makes sense though. But now, how do you parlay tonight though? How does that work?
Well, but there's multiple.
It's only
things you
one
can
game. It's
yeah,
only
you
one
can-
game though.
Yeah, but so you can parlay betting the side, right? You can bet the side with or without the points. Without the points, it's just
Okay.
money line.
Okay.
Or you're just picking the team to win.
Okay.
Or you can bet the total, which is
But Jamie,
over, under, whatever the
You
total.
can,
got you.
buy points. There's something where you can buy points.
there's all kinds
where
of
if you
bets,
like
yeah.
over 132, you can pay a little bit more of a price and buy 6 points. So now it's over 126. If you don't think UConn covers the 7, which I think they probably do, but I don't like it enough to bet it, it's called a teaser. I buy 6 points, so now all of a sudden it's -1. You have to win both bets. So I'm not a big fan. This is a tough game to bet. But if I had to bet up straight up spreads, I would take UConn in the over. I think UConn wins. They probably
I agree.
score in the 70s. And I agree with Chris's assumption.
High
or
70s or low
assessment.
70s?
Well, I agree with Chris's assessment that if San Diego State wins, the game's got to be in the 60s. They're not going to win the basketball.
But high or low 70s? Which one are you betting? for?
Well, no, I don't think it's going to be in the high or low 70s. I don't think the game's going to be extremely high scoring. If I had to pick a score, I would say maybe 72 to 65.
I say
something
60,
like
I
that.
say 67, 69.
72 to 65. I'm going to say.
So, Brian, what does this mean for? I hate to get away from the VEASAN segment there, but what does this mean for UConn if they win a national championship?
Well,
as far as the
let's
program?
start with Danny Hurley.
Yep.
A good question. Chris asks some really good questions sometimes. So Kevin
The
Ollie,
sun even shines on a dog's backside some days, my friend.
So Chris, Kevin Ollie wins the national championship.
Right.
Right. Jim Calhoun retires. He really cheated, and then he just cowered it out. Kevin Ollie takes over. He wins the national championship. Another cheating scandal. Kevin Ollie. The program was in turmoil for several years after Kevin Ollie was gone, and Danny Hurley was having first couple of years. He wasn't doing too good. He wasn't winning a lot of games. He stuck with it. They stuck with him. And he did an unbelievable job recruiting. Let's just start there. He and his staff did an unbelievable job. So from Danny Hurley's standpoint, this puts him on the map for UConn. If he wins a national championship tonight, which I think he will always be a legend in Connecticut. And by the way, he's not going anywhere. Yeah. This is a very high-paying job. You don't go from UConn and, hey, I want to step up. UConn is an unbelievable program. He's going to stay there. He's going to be the Jim Calhoun in this era. So this is big for Danny Hurley. It's huge for UConn because it's been a little while since they won a national championship, and there was a lot of scandals around that team. Yeah. From what I can tell, they recruited. They didn't break any rules or and they won this legitimately with a lot of NBA talent. So it brings UConn back to that conversation of one of the top programs in college basketball.
On the flip side, obviously, you and I, Brian and Jamie, we cover UNLV in Mountain West.
Right.
What does it mean if the Aztecs cut down the nets tonight?
Well, it's huge
in the national championship.
It's monumental. And by the way, I'll even go a step further and say, even if they don't win tonight, having a Mountain West Conference team in the championship game, because the Mountain West has gotten a lot of flack years past for having teams that just can't win games. The last time we were actually talking about anybody of relevance in the Mountain West, it was Kawhi Leonard at San Diego State, and it was Jimmer Fredette at BYU.
2011.
Right, and that was a phenomenal year. So this is good for the conference. The problem is you don't have other teams that are winning games. So while I think it's good, you have to have a couple other teams that can win a game or two in the tournament, and that's the problem with the Mountain West. It's so top-heavy with San Diego State. By the way, San Diego State, best team in the Mountain West Conference pretty much, for the most part, every year. So this is more huge. I mean, listen, I was watching Dutch on SportsCenter. They did the Sunday Conversation.
That was super cool.
And I'm thinking to myself,
I saw it.
Wow, did you think at the beginning of the year that Dutch would be in the Sunday Conversation on SportsCenter? This is I'm very high praise for Coach Dutcher and what he's been able to do with this team and their staff. They have done a phenomenal job. It's incredible what they've done. I don't think they're going to get it done tonight. If they do, it is going to be an unbelievable upset, not just necessarily this game, but to say that this seed in the Mountain West tournament is a national champion is going to be a spectacle.
Hey.
They have a chance. I'm not going to sit here and say they don't have a chance to win. They have a chance.
They do, yeah.
They have a chance. The spread is 7. I think UConn probably wins and might win by double digits, but San Diego State, I'm going to say they have at least a 1 in 5 chance of winning this basketball game. So UConn has never played a team like this year defensively.
They're a good underdog. I mean, they're a good underdog, but they're a great team for the Mountain West. It'd be great to have them win, honestly, because we need something for this area. And at the end of the day, I feel like let me actually ask both of you.
We don't have time.
Okay,
we don't have
out of time.
Especially with how long-winded Chris Winn is.
I am long-winded.
I had a good question, Chris.
I told you an hour's not long enough.
Are you guys going to be? Are you guys quickly because we got to go? You guys going to be watching the Indictment tonight or tomorrow?
100%.
I have to.
Absolutely.
I'm on a radio show. I have to.
Yeah, you do. You're forced to now.
And guys, there will be a mugshot.
This is my life.
Trust me on this. There will be a mugshot.
Okay.
There will be.
Before we go, guys, have a good day.
Are we doing this?
Yeah, I'm not going to flip you off. Yeah, have a good day, everybody. Hope everybody has
taunting. Taunting, folks.
Are you taunting
Not
me?
trash talk.
I'm a black man.
Taunting.
This is not fair.
Is this racist? I don't know. Is this racist? Here we go. All right, guys, you can't see me. At least
I really can't. With your glasses, I really can't.
All right. Well, I'm going to be hanging out tonight, watching the game at PT's with my boy McKeskey, and I don't know if Chris is going to come.
Have your head heel up.
Jamie's
let's get Shap's head.
Oh,
healed
can I
up.
see it? Take your head off. Take your head off. Go.
Not taking it off. I'm never. Chris can take
it
it off.
off.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.